I had it up to about to here with all this quarantine nonsense. You know who I think started all this? Carol Baskin.
Mr. Phelps's class. Yeah.
Hey, everybody, good morning. Happy Monday. I know it's tough to get back into the swing of things after a long spring break like that. So, at least we had a few really great days to spend outside, and hopefully, you got a little bit of fresh air and exercise, that sort of thing. But at any rate, we're back into it. It's April, and although things aren't the way that we should hope, we're gonna make it through this together, like I keep saying. So let's get right back into it. Clearly, you can see on the screen that I've got a PowerPoint here called Learning New Skills. I think this is especially important for anybody, but we've got a lot of seniors, of course, who are very soon going to be moving on and graduating again. Maybe not like we hoped, but that's coming. And so, part of what I want to do with these last several weeks is talk a little bit with you about the importance of lifelong learning, the importance of curiosity and doing new things and not being afraid to do new things, and more importantly, like knowing that you're capable of doing new things. I think that's more of it than anything. I have a ton of interests, and those didn't all happen at once. Those were just like a little bit at a time. Those were something as simple as learning a new skill, like with a deck of cards. I'll see if I can get these in the camera. And cutting them with one hand, just like that, right? It's a silly skill. It's simple. It probably took me, I don't know, half an hour of just fiddling around and practicing and goofing around, and then maybe another, I don't know, an hour total. This is not like me sitting there and like focusing on it for that long, but maybe an hour total of time getting it so I can do it basically anytime I want. All these skills are silly, but also they taught me a long time ago that I can really do just about anything I want, within my physical and mental capabilities. And so that's what I want to use this for. We're going to be eventually transitioning over the next several weeks to job skills, to things like resumes and things like cover letters, things like scholarship letters. A lot of you mentioned in the survey that we did pretty early on in this year that you would like to do that. That was actually the highest rated thing out of everything. So I want to spend a lot of our time here in the last few weeks trying to make sure that you feel comfortable heading into the basics of what you have in front of you. And in order to do that, we're going to spend a couple days this week working on learning new skills, maybe something like what I just did, so something just silly and something that you've always wanted to learn how to do and just never put the time into. What I want to take you to is a YouTube video by a guy named Mike Boyd. You might have heard of this guy. And so what I'm going to have you do is pause my video right now in just a second, and then transition and watch that full video. It's about 16 minutes, and then come back and watch the rest of my video for the rest of your assignment for today. All right. See you in about 16 minutes. You can pause it now. Okay, everybody, welcome back. Hopefully that was enlightening to you. That's a fun series that I watched for quite a while. And after I watched that video, I took a minute. Let me present this. I took a minute to post a whole bunch of things on here that I know how to do. Just random things that I tried to bring up and try to remember. Of course, I can do a lot more things than this, right? But things that are not related to like English, or even like maybe some things that you didn't know about me, just lots of little things. So I know how to swing dance. My wife and I have done swing dancing for a long time. I can solve a Rubik's Cube, right? I know how to juggle. I know how to change my own brakes, my own tires, my own oil in my cars. I can tie a bow tie in addition to a regular tie. I can do what's called shell jumps in Mario games, which I know is maybe not that cool for a lot of you, but it's pretty fun for me. I know a whole bunch of like remodeling skills, and I'm not especially good at electrical, so I kind of stay away from that. But everything else in a house I can pretty much handle. I know how to yo-yo using a professional yo-yo. I'm not very good at it. And these are like the ones that spin very fast and the ones that don't automatically come back up. You can't even like yank them up. They won't come up like that. You've got to do a special trick in order to get them to come up. So I can do that much, and that's about it. I know how to bake a killer cheesecake. I can spin a Springfield 1903 rifle. I learned that in RTC, and I'm actually really good at that. I can play like a few chords on a guitar, maybe 5 or 6 chords I know, and I can't really play it well. I don't think I could even make it through a single song, but I do know a few things. And then I know how to drive a stick shift. I do it every day, which is something that I probably wouldn't put on here, except so many people don't know how to do it. I thought that felt like a skill that was unique. Um, Again, most of these things I never use in my job. I don't need to use them every day. I definitely don't need to know how to use juggling skills or solving a Rubik's cube skills. But the point is that having so many different interests and so many different like desires to learn something has like motivated me to know how to do those things, and eventually has given me the confidence to know that I can literally do anything that I want. Again, like within my physical and mental capabilities. So I want you to pick something also kind of small, like the card thing that I showed you a minute ago. Here's a list of some possible ideas. And what we're going to do, I'll show you what the rules of this coming up for this week. But we're going to spend just a little bit of time in class working on this, but mainly like reflecting on our own abilities and our own skills. So I want you to find a small task that you've never done before that you would like to learn. And so here's some possible ideas, but you are by no means limited to these ideas. So learning how to build a house of cards, learning how to yodel. You can find all sorts of YouTube things on that. How to draw your favorite cartoon, and I mean like from scratch without any instructions or without any picture references, that sort of thing. Learn how to moonwalk. I've done that before, but I'm not very practiced at it, but yeah, it's fun. Learn how to juggle. Don't break anything in the house. Learn how to whistle using your fingers. I can't do that. Learn how to play the spoons, right? That's something that we all have in our house, but it's kind of cool when people can do well. Learn how to use formulas in Microsoft Excel. If you're like thinking about doing business, that might be a cool way to spend this little assignment. Learn how to bake a cake from scratch. Learn how to do a cartwheel, and I mean a good cartwheel, not like my 3-year-old nephew's cartwheel who thinks he's just doing a cartwheel. I mean a good one. Learn how to do calligraphy, or at least mimic calligraphy. I know we don't all have calligraphy pens at home or anything, but I've seen people do that with like a Sharpie, that kind of thing. So they kind of fake it. Learn how to break dance. Learn how to perform a magic trick. Learn how to code a basic program, right? Like even just a ball bouncing along a computer screen. Would be coding a basic program. Learn how to shuffle cards. Some people can't shuffle cards, even the basic version of that. Learn how to play chess. Learn how to use Photoshop. Or any other program. There's lots of different free trials. Or learn how to multiply two large numbers really fast. These are, again, just some ideas. You can do anything, but it should be a pretty small task and something that's reasonable to learn within, a couple hours worth of your time this week while we're in, English class, basically. And again, the goal is the task is irrelevant. It's more about reflection and learning about ourselves. Okay, so especially before we head out into the quote unquote real world. All of these things, I tried to find all these things that we could do that were things that we either didn't need things. What am I trying to say? We didn't need to go out and buy things necessarily for. I don't want you to go do that, of course. We're in quarantine. I want you to stay safe and healthy. But at the same time, like look for things around the house, like a basketball or something, or, for juggling, if you have like cornhole bags or, I don't know, something else that's small and light and that won't hurt anything. That would be a good example. So try to find things that you can do just with the things that you already have. All right. Here's the rules of the assignment. All right. So number one, your skill should be something you've never been able to do before. And what I mean by that is this is where I need you to be honest. Don't show me a skill that you already have. Okay. Or one, like I wouldn't pretend that I didn't know how to play guitar, and then at the end of this week, I show you the 5 chords that I already know right now. That would just be insincere and dishonest. So find something you've honestly never done before. That being said, like I can solve a Rubik's Cube, but I can solve it in like 3 or 4 minutes. It takes me a while. Okay. If your goal is that you want to take a skill that you already have and do it quicker or something like that, that would be reasonable. That would be something that you've never done before. I've never solved a Rubik's Cube in under a minute. And so that would be a good goal to have for something like this. Your skill should be something that is reasonable to learn in a few hours practice, okay? And again, from home, right? So, but focus on the time. So we're only going to have a few hours to dedicate to this skill, so make it something that is within that time frame, easy enough to learn. Moonwalking would be a good example of, starting from scratch, never doing it before, never knowing how to do it, and then watching some YouTube videos to learn how to do it and practicing over the course of a few hours. Your skill should be repeatable at least 2 times in a row. And what I mean by that is that it can't just be sort of a blanket goal. Like you shouldn't be able to shoot a basketball behind your head and it go in and say that that was somehow a skill, right? We can all do that if we try enough and if we just like keep throwing it behind our backs. It should be something that you can repeat because you have actually gained a skill, not something that you just kind of lucked out on, right? Number 4, you should practice your skill enough to know it, quote, know it, or perform it or whatever you're doing without having to relearn it after a few days or without needing instructions to redo it. Meaning, like if you decide to do the cartoon thing and draw one of your favorite cartoon characters, you don't have to have a reference piece or you don't have to watch a YouTube video while you're doing it. It's something that you have learned well enough that you can, just do it on your own anytime you want. That's kind of the idea. So this is the last rule. On Friday, part of our Friday assignment will be that you're going to record yourself doing your skill and post it to the discussion board in Microsoft Teams. I'll explain details on how to do that later on this week. But point is, you'll have, you'll send me like a 30-second, or you'll post it like a 30-second video into this discussion board of Microsoft Teams of you doing your skill, however long that is, right? And so be thinking about what you want to do, but also be thinking about, that you're going to be sharing this with the group. Okay, so make sure it's something that you're willing to post online. So your assignment for today is to go to today's discussion board in Microsoft Teams. This is very important. Let me escape out of here and show you what I'm talking about. So when I'm telling you to go to today's discussion board in Microsoft Teams, I'm talking about like right here. Over here, you come into Microsoft Teams, you're on General, go down to this discussion board, 4.6 Monday chat room, and make sure you click on that, and then you type in the response that I'm going to have you type in. If you put it anywhere else in General or any of the other old chat rooms, I won't find it, and you won't be marked for the assignment. So be careful to do that correctly. Lots of people are messing that up. So for today's assignment, go to the discussion board in Microsoft Teams. I'm going to have you post 2 things. Number 1, write a short reflection, meaning like 1 or 2 sentences on your thoughts about Mike Boyd's message. That's the other video that you just watched. And then respond to at least one other person's thoughts. Okay, so write your own reflection, respond to somebody else. Try to get an intellectual discussion going, right? Don't just simply be like, yeah, I agree. Like, agree and then tell them why. Tell them what you think about their thoughts. Or you can disagree. Feel free to disagree. Of course, that's going to happen, right? But just be respectful about it, okay? Try to get the intellectual conversation going. The second thing is that I want you to create and post a SMART goal for the skill you've chosen to work on this week. So that means I want you to do some thinking about the SMART goal that you have. Or that you're about to create, rather. If you've never heard of a SMART goal, I'm sure many of you have, but these are what they look like. They're all pretty simple. SMART stands for specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely. Okay, I've already given you a couple of those things because we're talking about what to do and when to do it, and when you have to have it done. So you just got to kind of fill in a few of the blanks. So specific, this is going to be my SMART goal. I don't know how to do this yet, but I will by the end of the week. I will learn how to spin a basketball on one finger for at least 10 seconds by Friday, April 10th. Okay? It's specific. It's exactly what I want to do. It's saying I want to use one finger to do it. I want to do it for at least 10 seconds, right? And gives me a time. It's measurable, right? So if I do it for 9 seconds, it doesn't count. If I do it for at least 10 or more, then it counts. It's good. It's achievable. It's something that I think that I can actually do. It's realistic, all right? I've given myself this much time, and I believe that that's enough time to be able to do this. And it's timely. By Friday, April 10th is going to be everybody's timely part of the SMART goal, all right? And so that's the idea for this week, okay? So brainstorm about that. Choose something that's reasonable, realistic, and that you feel like you can get done within a few hours worth of practice, okay? I'll give you a little bit more instructions tomorrow. We'll read a quick bit and do another quick reflection, and then we'll continue on with our practice, all right? Take care. See you then. Bye-bye.
Mr. Phelps's class. Yeah.